The Arizona State Sun Devils have been overachievers this season, making it to the College World Series without a full scholarship player. But in Game 1 of the series, the Sun Devils underachieved. After getting an early lead on Gary Ward's Oklahoma State Cowboys, Arizona State broke down defensively. A couple of errors opened the door for the Cowboys, who came charging through to take the lead and control of the game. Arizona State paid for the shoddy defense when the Oklahoma State Bats started making lots of noise. Robin Ventura, who hit in a record 57th straight game with just one of the hitters who hurt the Sun Devils, and put Jim Brock's team into the losers bracket of the series and facing elimination today. Florida State and ace pitcher Richie Lewis were also hurt by some bad fielding and by a lack of offense in Game 2. The Seminoles were held to just 8 hits and had their running game stopped by Greg Patterson of LSU. But Barry Blackwell's 2-out homer in the bottom of the ninth gave Florida State high hopes. Those hopes came falling down when center fielder Ron Lewis botched a fly ball, opening the gates for 5 LSU runs. So Florida State now meets Arizona State, with the winner staying alive.
From Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska, it's the Diet Coke pregame show. Game 5 of the College World Series, the Sun Devils of Arizona State versus the Seminoles of Florida State. Brought to you by Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha. I'm Tim Brando, your host for the College World Series, and welcome to Elimination Day here at the 87 NCAA College World Series. We begin the day with 8 great teams, but we'll soon have it whittled down to 6 as 2 teams will go home packing at the end of the afternoon and evening. The Florida State Seminoles are one of the teams that really was expected to be here. Mike Martin's club, sort of a run and shoot, if you will, if you could ever apply that term to baseball. Sound pitching, they love to steal bases, and they do get timely hitting. Arizona State, on the other hand, Jim Brock's club, even with its illustrious past, a surprise team, really, out of the Pac-10, making it here. In fact, Brock's program was really swirled in controversy until 2 years ago. The NCAA brought it to a head. Brock and his program were levied with probation from the NCAA because of improprieties discovered in the baseball work-study program. So Brock had to adjust.
Basically, we have had 8 scholarships and playing against people with 13, and it's been very difficult. We have a much different Arizona State type team. We do have, under normal circumstances, the recruiting power to get the highly drafted player, the future major leaguer, and so forth, and I've had a ton of those people through the years. When you're offering quarter scholarships, you don't get those kind of people. So we've got guys who are good college players, and they've proven they're good college players, but they're not the big, strong, physical people that we normally have. See, it's been kind of fun, but it's a ball club that has to play just strictly on emotion.
It was like the old days when the Sun Devils defeated UCLA to qualify for the World Series, but it didn't come easily for this team in '87.
Last year we heard a lot of, we didn't do that well, so the jokes were coming on about the work study and all that stuff. But this year it was funny as we started winning more and we started getting back the fan support, and the school was really supportive of us towards the end. I mean, we had big crowds, and so it was like the old ASU of old.
When it came down, we looked at it and said, well, what we have here is 2 years that are really going to be tough. And if we can keep it together and not get embarrassed during those 2 years, well, we've far exceeded that to be able to be one of the last 8 clubs in the country. But that's what we have to fight now, because I think we all kind of feel, gosh, look what we've done. And that's not the way to go to Omaha. You need to go to Omaha a little bit hungry, saying, hey, we haven't done much yet, but now we got a chance to do something great. And that's the attitude we're trying to get right now, and that's what we're working on right now.
But without the Yoda McDowells, without the Bob Horners, without that type of talent, Jim Brock is here again at the College World Series. Testimony to his coaching ability at the college level. When we come back, you'll meet the gentlemen calling today's game, Sam Rosen and Jim Cott, as the College World Series continues. Welcome back. In just 2 days here at Omaha, we've had a little bit of everything. Outstanding pitching. We had a hitter's feast, a few errors yesterday, and we also had some rain and some tornado warnings. What does today hold? Well, we've got some veterans of the College World Series in the booth, Sam Rosen and Jim Kaat. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Tim. And I think for both these teams, I think what the coaches would like to see is better defense, Jim.
No question, Sam, that both Jim Brock and Mike Martin very disappointed in the defense performance of their team, especially in center field. Ronnie Lewis misplayed a couple balls. Mike Benjamin, the shortstop, not like him to play that way in the field. They'll have to overcome that today. And, of course, Arizona State is going to come out with a primarily right-hand hitting lineup, a little more speed at the top, and see if they can create some more offense.
You talked about speed and creating more offense. That's something Florida State would like to see in their ball game. They were held to just 2 runs by LSU.
Well, no question that Mike Martin plays an aggressive style of baseball. They led the nation in stolen bases. Obviously, you can't steal first base, but if they get on, and with Mike Schwabe's ability to deliver the ball to home plate rather slowly rather than quickly, look for these guys to hit and run, steal early in the count. They'll do everything they can to move the ball around and advance on the bases.
Now, as far as Arizona State adding to their offense, they've changed the lineup around from their first game. They've gone to a right-handed hitting lineup today.
Well, they have. In addition to speed at the top, they've taken out a couple of their big left-hand hitters, Rumsey and Mattia. They have had very little success with left-hand pitchers, and of course Florida State today going with Pollock, the left-hander who has a good breaking ball.
All right, let's talk about that pitching matchup. The left-hander, Chris Pollock, 12-6. He last pitched a week ago when he beat South Alabama in the regional championship game.
Well, he has not lost since April 11 against Miami, so he's a pretty solid bet when he goes to the mound for Florida State. You could gamble and look for this game to be low scoring. Why? Well, first of all, Arizona State's lineup, as I mentioned, has trouble with left-handers that have a good breaking ball. Pollock has one. On the other side, Mike Schwabe has been by far Arizona State's most effective pitcher. He is vulnerable when men get on, but not too many men get on base on him, so we can look for a pitcher's duel.
Now, Schwabe is an interesting story. Right-hander who throws sidearm, so it should be interesting to see how he handles the Florida State hitters. Well, that sets up Game 5, but to catch you up on Game 4, which finished earlier today, let's go back to Tim Brando.
All right, Sam. Now we have the case of the missing 3 innings from Game 4 of the College World Series last night. Rain hampered play, and we had to leave you. Here's how it finished up. Let's start with the errors early on. Scott Belke, first game jitters perhaps in the College World Series for the Dogs. That let in 2 runs. Then Ed Sprague would come back with a triple for the Cardinal, sending it all the way to the wall in left field. He would go all the way around to third and eventually score the 3rd run of the game for Stanford. Then thunderstorms forced suspension of play in the 7th with Georgia needing a rally. It's 3-1. Then earlier today, Derek Lilliquist, who started the game, remained in the game as a DH. This tweener forced in the 2nd Georgia run, making it 3-2. But in the 9th, with a tying run aboard, Stanford would close this one out, and they'd get it the easy way. 5-4-3 on the DP, and the Cardinal will advance for a Tuesday night meeting against the Texas Longhorns. And, of course, Georgia now must come back and take on the Arkansas Razorbacks in Game 2 this afternoon here at Rosenblatt in Omaha, Nebraska. They are now in the loser's bracket and will have to come out here for a second time. But we've got Arizona State and Florida State coming up now as Elimination Day gets underway here at the 87 NCAA College World Series. The Diet Coke pregame show is brought to you by Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it.
Welcome to Game 5 of the NCAA College World Series, an elimination game between Florida State and Arizona State. Let's take a look at the Florida State lineup, brought to you by Wilson, the official wall of the NCAA Championship. The Seminoles of Florida State are coached by Mike Martin. In his 8th year, this is his 3rd trip to the College World Series. Leading off, the second baseman, Edwin Alicea, a sophomore who leads the team with 98 hits. Batting second, the first baseman, Jose Marzan, a senior who's hitting .316 with 16 home runs. Batting third, the catcher, Ed Fulton, a second-team All-America. He leads the team with 17 homers and 67 RBIs. Batting fourth, the DH, Barry Blackwell, a junior. He's hitting .343. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Mark Giordano, who has the highest batting average on the team at .377. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Don Erickson, a junior who's in a deep slump. He's had only one hit in his last 33 at-bats. Batting seventh, the right fielder, Deion Sanders, a sophomore with great speed. He's stolen 26 bases. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Rafael Vornagal, a junior. He's hitting .285. And batting ninth, the center fielder, Ronald Lewis, a freshman. He's hitting .247, but has stolen 31 bases.
And for the Sun Devils on defense, Mike Barola will be in left, John Finn in center, Jason Bridges in right field today. In the infield, Bob Dombrowski at third, Mike Benjamin the shortstop, Tim Esme at second, Ted Dyson is at first, Tim Spear behind the plate, and on the mound their ace, right-hander Mike Schwabe. Mike is 6'4", 202. He's a junior. You get a look at his numbers in 1987, and we'll
State.
Very sure-handed Rafael Bornegal, but right there on a routine play, just could not find the handle on it and gave Arizona State new life here.
So a hit batsman and an error. And again, for the third time in the ball game, Arizona State with runners in scoring position. Benjamin with good speed at second, Peralta at first, and Ted Dyson.
Only the open stance.
Fastball on the ground, foul outside of first. Wind is picked up, and the wind is starting to blow straight out here at Rosenblatt Stadium. There you see the breeze blowing out and then swirling around from left to right. I think if Dyson gets one up in the air to right field, it could carry a ways.
A little Wrigley Field flavor to the wind today here in Rosenblatt Stadium.
Jim Brock giving Ted Dyson the RBI sign. Outfield straight away on Dyson. Curveball, he went around. Good pitch by Pollock. Had him fooled. And again, Pollock 0-2 on the batter. Bornegal is shaded over behind second, and Benjamin has got a short lead. Curveball misses. Pollock wanted it. He was 2 steps toward the dugout. Dyson, good power. 1-2 pitch, fastball down low. Dyson, good eye at the plate. He's laid off 2 tough pitches from Pollock.
Especially left-hander to left-hander. You have a tendency to, as a left-hand hitter, to kind of wave at those pitches low and outside. I have a feeling Pollock is going to come back here with that big curveball.
You held it right. Dyson goes down swinging. 4th strikeout by Chris Pollock. Again, Arizona State leaving runner in scoring position. End of 3 in Game 5 of the NCAA College World Series. Florida State and Arizona State scoreless. Here at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska, we go to the top half of the 4th inning. Mike Schwabe for Arizona State has been in command. A Philadelphia Flyers fan. He'll be watching the Stanley Cup final tonight. Take a look at the champions since 1967. Southern California 7, Arizona State 4, Arizona 3, Texas, Cal State Fullerton, and Miami.
And no repeaters since 1974 when Southern Cal won it, 73 and 74. Typical of all sports today. Very difficult to repeat.
Parody. Don't forget, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Flyers and the Oilers tonight. Mongo. He's got the Seminole Rooters alive. Jose Marzan, the first baseman, leads off the top half of the 4th inning. Schwabe just missed.
We do a lot with numbers, but these are significant. Schwabe, only 35 pitches through the first 3 innings. 25 of those were strikes. That's unbelievable percentage. A couple of pitch outs mixed in there, too.
Fastball hit in the air to right field. Back goes Bridges. He's at the warning track and makes the catch. Jason Bridges, a junior, playing his first game in the College World Series. You see him shaking his head and looking up at the sun. That's a tough sun field in right field.
Oh, you've heard about the left field in Yankee Stadium being so difficult on day games. Right field here is the difficult field. And, of course, Bridges not the defensive player that Rumsey is. See him shield his eyes not only with the sunglasses but with his glove.
Did a good job on that ball. Went back well. And here's Ed Fulton, the catcher. still looking for his first hit in the World Series. Fulton was kept quiet by the left-hander, Greg Patterson. Game 2 of the series, fouls it down the left field side, back into the crowd. Good crowd on hand for this first game of a Sunday doubleheader in Omaha, Nebraska. Game 6 of the NCAA College World Series is another elimination game with Arkansas taking on Georgia. And we'll have that game for you on delayed tape this evening following the 7th game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. John Sanders, Joe Morgan, and Tim Brando will bring you the action. Slider gets over from Schwabe. He's 0-2 on Fulton. Fulton went 0 for 3 in the game against LSU. Good pitch in on the hands. And that's back in the crowd.
Tag along on those strike ball numbers. You know, one thing I always try to preach as a coach, I think all coaches do, most important pitch is the first pitch. If you get that over, you'll get 80 to 90% of the hitters out. In Schwabe's case, 7 first pitch strikes, 6 of them made outs.
Ahead 0-2 on Ed Fulton. This is outside.
And if he gets Fulton, it will be 8 out of 9. 7 out of 8.
Fastball pop foul. Fulton staying alive.
You know, the pro scouts aren't here looking at Schwabe. Looking at a lot of the glamour names, you know, Lilliquist and McDowell. We saw Richie Lewis, but if he should make it, I would imagine the pros will dub him rather quickly with the name Q-Tip, as in Schwabe, because he's built like one. In fact, I think there's a pro player that has that nickname. Can't think of it right now.
You've been listening to Chris Berman with those nicknames, have you? 1-2 pitch is foul tipped again.
I've been listening to him, but I wouldn't try to compete with him. I love his names. He's got one here for Arkansas he can use. And, the Arkansas press guide said it's Jim Non-Dairy Kramer's.
They're trying to help Chris along. Ed Fulton is the DH against LSU. The catcher this afternoon. The 1-2 stays outside. Fulton's got a good eye. He's walked 76 times this season, so he'll battle you at the plate. 346 hitter. Second team All-America catcher. Along with Craig Biggio of Seton Hall, who had a superb year, leading Seton Hall to the Big East Championship and the NCAA tournament. Count is full. So Schwabe pitching very carefully is missed outside to Fulton. When he's brought the ball inside, Fulton has fought it off. Fastball on the inside corner. Second strikeout for Mike Schwabe.
Well, you saw Schwabe look over at the bench before that pitch, and you mentioned, Sam, he missed outside to Fulton. Watch this pitch. See, Fulton says, oh, that's a ball. It's inside. But that late movement, and he's going to pump that fist and say, yes, sir, that's just where I wanted to throw that pitch.
Oh, the cotton candy looks good. Oh, don't tease the young fella.
It's a 98 draft choice right there.
2 men out, nobody on the top of the 4th. Florida State has been unable to get untracked offensively. Here's Barry Blackwell. Came into the game hitting .343. Fastball on the ground to third. Dombrowski is there. Across to Dyson. Sides retired 1-2-3. Florida State has had only 1 hit as Mike Schwabe continues to set him down. Arizona State coming to bat in the bottom of the 4th. Still no score. 5-time champions are the Arizona State Sun Devils. 77 and 81 belong to Jim Brock.
He's been an outstanding coach, 16 years at Arizona State. There's Jim.
Fans recognize the name of the fellow that coached him to the other three, I'm sure. Bobby Winkles.
Tim Spear, the catcher, leads off bottom half of the fourth inning. Against Chris Pollock. Spear has had an outstanding year, both behind the plate and at bat. Just missed the inside corner. Pollock has had to work out of trouble in every inning. Double play helped him out of trouble in the first inning.
You talk about
a two-out triple and got out of it, Jim.
Talk about pitching numbers with Pollock, Sam. He's thrown 10 first pitch strikes. 8 of those have been outs. The 5 balls have all reached base.
Put the 3-0 fastball in there. Well, let's see what Pollock throws 3-1. He's gotten a lot of confidence this year. They say won't give in to the hitter, and will throw that breaking pitch 3-1 or 3-2. Let's see. Goes fastball, and it's popped up. Short right field. Going back is Alicea calling and makes the catch. Comes back from 3-0 and gets Spear to pop out.
Alicea not wearing the sunglasses, but you see the trouble he has with the sun, like Bridges did. Shields it with the glove, calls it with the bare hand. Anything hit toward that right side today will be very difficult for the fielders to pick up.
Mike Barola, the left fielder, steps in. He struck out his first time up, looking as Pollock threw him a lot of breaking pitches. From straight changes and slow curveballs. Bunted up the third base side, and it rolls foul. A lot of spin on that ball, and as it hit the grass, it just took a 90-degree angle off the grass and across the white line.
This baby had some spin like your pitching wedge, Sam. Look at this. Look at the way that bites and then hops directly. It looks like it's going to stay fair, but all that spin, and Fulton wisely let it go. The temptation there was to just pick it up and see if he could gun him down. He made a good decision.
Barola has some power, not a big guy. He's got some power. Curveball, he went around. Barola's looked frustrated up at the plate against Pollock with that slow stuff.
Well, they might have a good report on Barola to keep the ball away from him, because you remember last time I said I think Pollock's going to come inside, and he didn't. He kept going away, and Barola has really looked poor on the pitches that are away from him. Let's see what he does here.
Fastball tapped down the third base line. Tough chance. Erickson makes the throw, not in time. Erickson was playing deep on the 1-2 pitch and had no play on Barola.
That's similar to the hit that Finn got to lead off the ball game. Just one of those you can't do anything about it. Right there, Erickson played it as well as he could, but Barola's speed and the fact that it was a swinging bunt, they had no chance.
So again, for the 4th straight inning, Arizona State with a base runner. Here's Jason Bridges, the right fielder, singled his first time up. 1 man out, a runner at first. There's no score in the ball game. We're in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Slow curveball drops in. Barola doesn't have great speed, but he's stolen 8 bases in 9 tries. Curveball on the ground is short. Bornegal, Alicea for 1 on the first. It's high and thrown away. Bounces off the backstop and off the dugout wall, and up to second base goes Jason Bridges. An error on the throw on Alicea.
Now we've seen the infield defense in the middle, both Bornegal and Alicea, make it a little more difficult for Pollock. Look here, Alicea cannot get the ball out of his glove, and then not having a firm grip on it and also trying to avoid the slide he throws it away. Just couldn't get it out of his glove. That was a routine double play for those two guys. They usually make that one.
Fielder's choice and an error. Second, make it the third error in the game for Florida State. Marzan, Bornegal, and Alicea have made the errors. Fastball of Bob Dombrowski, the third baseman, a strike. 2 men out. And for the 4th inning in a row, Arizona State with a runner in scoring position. They had a runner to third in the 1st and 2nd. They had a runner at second last inning. Line to Alicea at second, and the side's retired. Hit well, but right at the second baseman, Edwin Alicea. 4 innings complete. Game 5 of the NCAA College World Series. There's no score. For the first time since 1971, the Stanley Cup Finals goes to 7 games, and the Flyers and the Oilers get it on tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time in the Northlands Coliseum. Be right here on ESPN. So be with us. Mike Emmerich, Bill Clement, and Tom Mees will bring you the action from the Northlands Coliseum for the championship of the National Hockey League. Game 7. That'll be a good one. And following that, a visit to Sports Center, and then Game 6 of the NCAA College World Series. John Sanders, Joe Morgan, Tim Brando, a delayed tape telecast of the game between Georgia and Arkansas, an elimination game. Right here, we go to the 5th inning. Mike Schwabe for Arizona State pitching a fine ball game. He's faced only 1 over the limit through the first 4 innings. 13 batters. Facing Mark Giordano, the left fielder, takes outside. Giordano flied out. His first time up. Florida State got a couple of base runners in the game. Curve is fouled.
That's one of the few breaking balls. In fact, I was going to comment before that pitch. Schwabe has thrown very few breaking balls to the left-hand hitters, primarily because his breaking ball is more like a frisbee. It's flat, does not have any down break to it. Much easier for the left-hand hitter to handle.
Hit on the ground to second. Esme is there. On to Dyson. 1 out. Florida State has had 2 base runners in the game. A single by Bornegal in the 3rd inning. A check swing single it was. And then a walk to Ronald Lewis after Bornegal was thrown out trying to steal. Here's Don Erickson, the 3rd baseman. Boy, is he struggling at the plate. And it's interesting that Mike Martin feels if Erickson can get going, it can really help Florida State come alive. High fly ball, left center field. John Finover calling for it, puts it away. Finn covers a lot of ground in center field. 2 men down. And Deion Sanders will come in as the crowd continues to fill up. Stands filling up here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Another good ball game follows this one. Arkansas and Georgia. Georgia losing a tough one to Stanford 3-2. Hit hard over the head of Benjamin into left center field. Sanders with great speed turns and holds up. Good play by Barola to get the ball in. Interesting watching Sanders go down the first base line. He got rid of the helmet to get more speed.
Here's a look at that swing. Acts down on it, and look at this speed. Now, you ever watch Gary Matthews play baseball for the Phillies and the Cubs and the Giants? They called him the Sarge. And the first thing he would do as soon as he left home plate, flip that helmet off. Almost flipped mine off. And that's exactly what Sanders did. I think he probably watched Matthews play a little bit.
Now look for Sanders to run here. He's got a big lead. The pitch out. Nothing doing. Rafael Bornegal, the shortstop, is in with 2 men out and a runner at first.
Surprised. Both teams talk about how they're going to steal, and they can't seem to get a jump.
Sanders, I was watching him against LSU, Jim. He likes to get a walking start. Seems to leave the base when the pitcher's almost set and likes to get a walking lead. Another pitch out, and Sanders not going.
This guy's needed a quick crash clinic from Joe Morgan on on getting a lead. You're right, most base runners do. They want to get that walking lead, but right now Sanders looking over at the coach as if to say, hey, I can't draw a bead on this guy.
He never got off the base that time. A fastball for a strike. As Schwabe worked very quickly.
Good strategy there. Quick set, unloaded, quick pitched him. Now he might hold it for a while.
Sanders looking, trying to edge off. Now he's got a good lead. Faking. He's going. Pitch is taken. Throw down by Spear, not in time. Deion Sanders steals the base. 27th stolen base for Sanders this season.
Now they've got speed at the bottom of the lineup as well as the top. Boy, look at that jump and look at the way he explodes down there. No chance. And of course, Schwabe, we've mentioned, he unloads the ball rather slowly. I said to pitching coach Dub Kilgo, you got a clock on him? He said, no, just a calendar.
Florida State with a runner in scoring position. Curveball hit in the air to short right center field. Finn coming on. He's there and makes the catch. So a single by Sanders, a stolen base, and he's left stranded at second. Go to the bottom of the fifth. There's no score. ESPN's live presentation of the 1987 NCAA College World Series is being brought to you by Mercury, makers of the all-new Mercury Tracer. Mercury, the shape you want to be in. By Diet Coke, you're going to drink it just for the taste of it. And by Job Spikes, Job's does the job at the roots. Good crowd, good fans, good ball game as we go to the bottom half of the fifth inning. We talk about elimination from the tournament. And this is the first elimination day. And a good team will be going home after this one. Deep shadows covering home plate now.
Yeah, not that these pitchers need any more. Oh, look at this. Is that Mario Lanza?
Nobody sang the national anthem the other day. He sure sounded great.
Well, not the pitchers, not that they need any more help, but that shot of the shadows there, it's going to get a little more difficult for the hitter to pick up the ball.
Top of the order for Arizona State, John Finn. And that play back in the first inning looms as a pretty big one in a scoreless ball game. Finn led off the bottom of the first with a pop fly single. After an error, he moved to second, then was caught off second on a line drive to the second baseman. One of those things you always tell your base runners, nobody out, see the line drive, watch it go through.
First thing a coach will tell you on first, and a base runner, of course, at second is responsible himself for that kind of a play.
Center fielder John Finn fakes the bunt, takes strike two. It's 2-2. Finn has had 3 hits in the 2 World Series games. Good center fielder. And he steps out, asked for time. Granted by the umpire. Jim Garman, the home plate umpire. Two from Pollock. Curveball on the ground, in the hole. Tough play for Bornegal. And safe. Great play by Bornegal. Great throw on the run, away from the play. But Finn has got outstanding speed and beat it.
Now we saw Bornegal miss a routine ball, but look at this play right here. He's got to throw this ball on the run, the only chance he has. And he throws it accurately. He can't execute it any better than that. Finn's speed gets him another base hit.
And another leadoff runner for Arizona State. Here's Tim Esme. He's 0 for 2. Finn has got good speed, but Pollock, with that outstanding move, has kept the Arizona State runners close. Hasn't picked anybody off, but you can see they're very wary of that move. Popped in the air to center field. Ronald Lewis puts it away.
Ronald Lewis, who had trouble with that ball in the 10th inning against LSU, fell down.
Sam, you mentioned they're having trouble reading the move of Pollock. Watch right here. Finn. Now the pitch is headed toward home plate. See what he does. He retreats. So he thought Pollock was coming to first base.
Right. Now here's Mike Benjamin. The big offensive threat. All-around threat for Arizona State. Good power. He tripled in the first inning. Was hit by a pitch in the third. Was left stranded in the third after that line drive double play wiped out Finn off the bases in the first. Benjamin tripled. Bottom half of the 5th inning. No score in the ball game. No runs, 5 hits. No errors for Arizona State. No runs, 2 hits, 3 errors for Florida State. Benjamin, who leads the team with 86 hits, 83 runs scored, takes outside. Has 18 doubles, 18 homers, 30 stolen bases. He's had an outstanding year for Jim Brock. Finn with a short lead. Fastball foul back. John Finn. And time to look at Chris Pollock.
Well, you talk about pitches that get away. If Mike Benjamin could have that back, look at that pitch right in the middle. And he had a good swing at it. Just the margin is just an inch here or an inch there between a foul ball and hitting it solid.
That looked like it was in the homer zone.
Nitro zone.
Chris.
Finn with a short lead at first.
Pollock does not subscribe to your theory, Jim. He works on the runners. He'll throw over there 3, 4, 5 times.
And it's paid off for him.
Slow curve on the ground to third. Erickson lets it go through his legs. Finn around second, holds up. And that's the 4th error of the ball game for Florida State, and each infielder has made an error.
Yeah, they're spreading it around. No partiality. Marzan, Alicea, Bornegal, and Erickson now each with an error. And I'll tell you, psychologically, Arizona State has such an advantage right here because Pollock cannot continue to get put in this kind of jeopardy and make the pitch to get out. I mean, he's done it so far, but you just keep saying the percentages are going to catch up. And now here with Martin Peralta, their big right-handed threat, he's in a little danger right here.
Runners at first and second with 1 man out here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. There's no score in the ball game. Arizona State has had a runner in scoring position in every inning. Foul back. Good fastball by Pollock. Jim, with the shadows deep because of the bright sunshine and the pitcher coming out of the sunshine, which is the tougher pitch to hit for a hitter?
That's interesting. I think you'd have to ask hitters. There are some managers that will say, don't throw them anything soft. Don't be throwing any curve balls when it's hard to see. But sometimes the curve can be hard to pick up.
Curve on the ground. Alicea on the Bornegal one. On the first. Double play. They're out of the inning. Pollock makes the big pitch and gets Peralta to hit into a double play. And the game remains scoreless. The pitchers coming up with big pitches. Chris Pollock got the DP ball. No score as we go to the 6th. Boy, Mike Schwabe has pitched a fine ball game.
Well, look at the pitches and the balls and the strikes. I mean, phenomenal percentage. You don't get that kind of percentage on the big league level. And the results kind of reflect it right there. Just 2 hits. And he right now at this middle part of the ball game much fresher than Pollock because of the fact that Chris Pollock's defense has put him in such trouble. But he's been equal to the task so far. He's done a great job.
Made some big pitches. when he's had to. Here's the number 9 man in the order, center fielder Ronald Lewis. Pops it up. Off the first base side, the catcher Spear called off by the first baseman Dyson, who makes the catch in fair territory. Watch this double play, Jim.
Yeah, the Florida State infield has messed up some rather routine balls, but let's not forget some of the good plays they've turned. That ball is hit briskly and looks rather routine, but hey, with 2 men on, you got to make that play, and they do it.
There's the second baseman, Edwin Alicea. Look how quick Bornegal was, how smooth he was coming across. One thing, if you want to control Florida State, and if you want to beat them, you keep those top 3 off the bases. You got a good shot, and that's what LSU and ASU have done thus far in the World Series.
So typical of teams in all of baseball these days. Big emphasis on speed. I mean, you go into Montreal, you say you got to keep Tim Raines off the base, Ricky Henderson off the base.
Last time they got Alicea with a runner in scoring position. With 2 men out. Lewis got a walk, stole second. Alicea bounced out. 2-1 pitch off the end of the bat, foul. Game 6 of the NCAA College World Series tonight. Georgia meets Arkansas. And that'll be telecast here on ESPN on delayed tape following Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. John Sanders, Joe Morgan, and Tim Brando will bring you that ball game.
There's an interested spectator, Sam.
And alongside Gary Ward, the head coach of Oklahoma State, is Jim Henry, the head coach of Creighton University, who is the host. The host school is Creighton on the NCAA World Series. That ball flied to left field. Mike Barola is there. Had him played perfectly.
Talk about talking some inside baseball. Now, Gary Ward talk baseball with you all day long, studies it, does a great job of instructing his players. I was disappointed to see one of his players referred to in the Sports Illustrated article as developing bad habits, because I don't think you develop bad habits playing for Gary Ward.
Here's Jose Marzan, the first baseman. 2 men out, nobody on.
You mentioned Marzan played every position. You recall 2 guys in the big leagues that did that years ago?
Cesar Tovar.
He's one of them. Campy Campanera.
All right. Good slider. A flat slider.
Frisbee.
That pitch missed. So far, the best pitch of the series, without a doubt, is the Splinker.
Splinker, yeah. That's going down and see Bobby Edwards. I want to learn how to throw that. Might need it for Thursday's softball game.
Maybe he'll throw that tonight against Georgia. Way outside.
That overhead shot right there, Sam, will give you an idea, if you're watching at home, at how difficult it is for the hitter to pick up the ball.
Only the 3rd batter in the ball game. Schwabe's gone to 3 balls on. Good fastball on the ground, wide of 3rd, and goes to the shortstop. Benjamin throws, scooped out by Dyson. 1, 2, 3. Schwabe puts him away, and at the end of 6, a scoreless duel between Chris Pollock of Florida State and Mike Schwabe of Arizona State. The shortstop, Mike Benjamin, comes up with a good play. Chris Pollock has had a work out of trouble at every inning, but he has.
Well, he really has. He's made, you know, the secret to pitching is to make that pitch when you need it. Now, his number's not as good as Mike Schwabe, but still very respectable. The percentage of strikes and balls. No earned runs, of course, and the 5 hits, just 1 walk. His defense has allowed 4 extra base runners. Interesting stat. Every time Chris Pollock gets strike 1, he's gotten the hitter out. Every time he is not, it's either been a walk or a hit.
Bottom half of the 6th inning. Ted Dyson, the only left-handed batter in the lineup for Arizona State this afternoon, will lead it off. Dyson has had some outstanding production this season for Arizona State after missing 17 games with a broken hand early. He's had 49 RBIs in 49 games coming into the game today. 15 home runs. Slow curveball and a good one from Pollock.
Here's one of the reasons Jim Brock took Rumsey and Mattia out of the lineup. You see that big breaking curveball? Not many left-hand hitters have good swings at that pitch.
Fastball, foul back. Pollock ahead on the count, 1-2. Arizona State has left 6 men on base in the ball game. And they've had a runner in scoring position in every inning. Haven't gotten the big hit. Got him on a curveball. Good breaking ball from Pollock, his 5th strikeout.
Take a look at the swing that Dyson has right here. I mean, this is just, with that big breaking curveball and you're ahead in the count, hitter's pretty, defenseless right there.
The catcher, Tim Spear, struck out and popped to second. Checked the swing. No, he didn't. He went around. First base umpire Hank Roundtree says he went across with a bat. Just inside.
Well, through the first 5 games, in general, the umpiring has been very favorable for the pitcher. The strike zones and that example of the check swing, most of them have gone for strikes. It's been a pitcher's series.
Well, don't let Arkansas tell you that one. Arkansas used up 5 pitchers yesterday, walking 13.
But it had nothing to do with the home plate umpire. Right. I'll guarantee you that. Those pitches, they just were not challenging hitters and weren't throwing strikes, and they know it.
That one's down in the dirt. Pollock behind, 3-1 on the count to Tim Spear. He's walked only 1, allowed 5 base hits, 1 extra base hit. Senior left-hander Chris Pollock. Fastball hit foul down the right side. Back into the bleachers where they're getting the good suntan. Great day to watch baseball. We've seen some good baseball thus far in this 1987 NCAA College World Series. Count is full on Tim Spear. Hit up the middle, over the head of Alicea. A 1-out single for Tim Spear, the 6th hit of the game for Arizona State. Spear, who came into the game hitting .328. It's a base hit.
Now you see the ball not hit that well, but Alicea tries to time that leap just out of reach.
Made a good leaping catch in the 1st inning. The left fielder Mike Barola struck out looking his 1st time. Got a base hit last time up. Bunts. Caught. Throw to first. Double play. What a play by Ed Fulton, the catcher. The bunt popped right up in the air. Fulton alertly grabs it, throws to first for a double play.
Nobody more appreciative of this great play than Chris Pollock. You see, great reactions on Fulton's part. Flips that mask off. I mean, that takes a little heads-up play on Fulton because the ball's not in the air that long. He flips the mask, picks up the ball all in one motion.
3 double plays for Florida State have gotten them out of trouble. We go to the 7th. No score.
Mississippi State brought an offensive powerhouse to the '85 College World Series, but pitcher Jeff Brantley was the key to their win over Arkansas in Game 7. Brantley started and took a 5-4 lead into the 9th, and with the game on the line, he was untouchable.
That is it. A battle for Bradley, his 7th strikeout. He picks up his 18th win of the season, and he earned it.
A real bulldog.
Boy, I tell you, I had a chance to see him pitch a few years ago. He's in the minor leagues now. I don't have an update on his stats, but AAA ball with the Giant organization. He's an example of a guy that the scouts, he doesn't throw real hard, but that bulldog you mentioned can make up for a lot.
Just missed outside. Ed Fulton, who made an outstanding play on that bunt, leads it off in the top half of the 7th.
People might say, what's so outstanding about this? But to be able to pick the ball up so quickly.
Back to the live action, hit deep to right field, right center, and John Finn is there and makes the catch.
You pick that ball up quickly like Fulton did, because catchers can get their mask off in a hurry, but usually by the time you locate the ball, it's on the ground.
Great reaction. Finn covering the outfield well. The big outfield here at Rosenblatt Stadium. One man out. Here's Barry Blackwell, the designated hitter today. I told Jim and I before the game, he loves to catch. He loves to be in there behind the plate, but he's had to share the catching duties with Ed Fulton, who's a second-team All-American. Curveball. Foul tip.
He's kind of, he's hoping in the draft. He's not one of the top high-rated prospects here, and he says, I don't really care. Let the other guys get the publicity. He said, just give me a chance to play.
He bunts foul. Last year, he admits to not being a good third baseman, but they didn't have a third baseman at Florida State. He was the man and a stopgap, but he just enjoyed playing. This year he got a chance to catch. Was a catcher all through high school, only caught 5 games last year, and then split the catching duties this year with Ed Fulton. One man out in the top half of the 7th inning. Florida State has had only 2 hits. Count is 0-2 on Blackwell. Got a piece. It's a tough time. Schwabe coming from the side, or 3/4, dropping down a little bit. And those shadows creeping out beyond home plate. Tough on the right-hand batter. On the ground slowly to second. In comes Tim Esme. And he almost threw it wild. No, he's safe. He did. He pulled Dyson off the bag. Dyson thought he stayed on the bag, but the throw pulled him off.
Well, that's a play of Tim Dyson. Had a chance, or Ted Dyson rather, had a chance to do this over. He would get the ball first. See, come off the bag, get the ball, and then find the bag again instead of try to stretch like that. That's why a lot of your first basemen get over there and straddle the bag, wait for the throw, and then kind of lean to one side or the other, whatever side of the bag the throw is on. He really should have caught that ball and still found the bag.
The error is charged on the throw to the second baseman, Tim Esme. Florida State with a runner at first with 1 man out. And Mark Giordano, the left fielder, steps in and swings at a breaking ball.
See his foot just come off the bag there. Hank Roundtree there to spot it.
Try to get back, but he had gone too far with a stretch. So a routine grounder turns into an error. Florida State with a man at first. Fastball missing.
Blackwell, not, you wouldn't think had great speed being a catcher, but he's 8 for 11. And once again, if Florida State is going to score, it appears they have to use the stolen base.
Blackwell says, I'm a slow catcher. I can't run. We'll see if Florida State challenges and tries to get something going. They're looking for offense. They've had very little. They've had a walk, 2 singles, and now the error. Their 4th base runner of the game. We're in the top half of the 7th inning. Mark Giordano came into the game hitting .377. Runner goes. Pitch is hit on the ground. Base hit to right field. Blackwell on his way to third. And Florida State with runners at first and third, successfully executing the hit and run.
Well, that really magnifies that error, because as you see the swing of Mark Giordano, without Blackwell at first base, this is a routine ground ball. You see right there, Esme had cheated over towards second. Nobody on. He's playing Giordano right there, and Schwabe's out of the inning. But now he's got first and third, needs another ground ball.
Pitching coach Dub Kilgo trots out to the mound for a little chat with his right-hander, Mike Schwabe. And part of this maybe how to defense this first and third situation. First and third, one man out. Now, there's not great speed on the bases. Neither Giordano nor Blackwell have great speed. But we'll see Florida State trying to manufacture a run and break this scoreless tie.
See, most of the time, a lot of teams will have plays where they'll say, okay, we'll either throw it back to the pitcher or we'll bluff and throw it to third if they attempt a delayed steal or a double steal, or we'll have the second baseman or shortstop come in. A number of plays, but Jim Brock primarily will just throw the ball back to the pitcher. So I don't think Florida State is going to be able to trick them in any way right here.
Well, you saw that number. They came within 1 out against LSU. Last time they were shut out was 3 years ago in April of 1984. And then Blackwell hit that 2-out homer in the bottom of the ninth. Now Florida State with a chance to take the lead. Runners at first and third. One man out here in the top of the seventh. Third baseman Don Erickson squares, bunts it. The squeeze is on and it works. Nobody covering first. It's a base hit. Florida State takes the lead. Blackwell, who got on the error, scores. Giordano goes to second. And Erickson is safe at first with a squeeze bunt single. Erickson, who'd had only one hit in his last 37 times up.
Well, you see perfect execution right there on the part of Erickson. The reason Jim Brock did not have his infield in at first and third, he was playing him at double play depth, so you really can't fault the Arizona defense.
And this is a safety squeeze. Blackwell was not going, as you saw. Once the ball was down, he was on his way. Deion Sanders lines one into center, a base hit. Giordano on his way to third is being waved in. Here's the throw, and Giordano is out. Giordano does not have good speed, and I'm surprised he was not held up with one man out.
Well, we've seen Sanders hit a couple of balls right on the nose. And right there, bad gamble by third base coach Chip Baker. Giordano out by a wide margin. You see right there, had he been held up, of course, Florida State bases loaded and one out.
See, even with a cutoff by the first baseman, he was out by a wide margin on the relay. So it is still 1-0. Runners at first and second. There's the third base coach, Chip Baker, who waved Giordano in. And he's out at the plate. 2 men out. Florida State still with runners at first and second. Erickson at second, Sanders at first, and Rafael Bornegal.
A lot of things that go through a third base coach's mind before a play like that happens, and obviously Baker has to do that. As you're looking at him right there, he probably is saying, okay, Bornegal's the next hitter. He does not represent much pop. Nevertheless, I think you got to give your team a chance with the bases loaded and one out to squeeze.
That's right. Bornegal, who handles the bat well, can bunt well. At least we give you a shot there. Runners at first and second, 2 men out. Just missed with that slider. Florida State has gone out on top here in the top half of the 7th inning. 1-0. And we're going to get bullpen action for Arizona State. On the outside corner, there was the slider. And here's the man who started on Friday, Linty Ingram, warming up. And he told his pitching coach, Dub Kilgo, at the ballpark, came to the ballpark today, said, I can go as long as you want. I feel good, and I'm ready. Missed off the outside corner.
He pitch every day if they let him, Linty Ingram. I mean, and Schwabe's the same way. He pitched 2 complete games in the regional in the span of 3 days. And that's, again, one of the things that the Sports Illustrated article has been critical of college baseball. I tell you, I'd rather have guys that like the ball than the ones that don't want it.
Popped up in foul territory. Ted Dyson is over, having trouble with the wind, but he makes the catch. But Florida State takes advantage of an error by Tim Esme at second base and breaks the scoreless tie. Go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Florida State 1, Arizona State nothing.
All right, could be a big play in this ball game. The Florida State Seminoles 1st and 2nd and 1 out. You see Mark Giordano. Not good speed. Chip Baker waving him home. And the relay from Finn to Dyson to Spear, out easily. Took Florida State out of what could have been a big inning. They did pick up 1, but could have had more.
Now we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Arizona State trailing 1-0. Sends up the right fielder Jason Bridges. Had a base hit. Back in the 2nd inning. Reached on an error in the 4th. Slow curveball by Pollock. And we talked about Schwabe. Had an outstanding game. And Chris Pollock has been tough in the clutch. Arizona State has stranded 7. They've had base runners in every inning except the 6th. Well, they had a base runner in the 6th. That double play, excuse me. Got him out of it. Didn't strand anybody in that inning. 0-2. Just missed outside. Florida State has made 4 errors, but they've also come up with 3 double plays. They made the big pitches and the big plays when they had to. Just got a piece of the fastball. Left-hander Chris Pollock, his 2nd year at Florida State. Slow curveball stays outside.
Now you're going to begin to see a little more animation from all these players the last couple innings. You saw Pollock right there. He really wanted that pitch. We're getting down to these last 2 1/3. One of these teams is going home after this game.
Right. 2-2. Curveball got him. 6 strikeouts for the left-hander Chris Pollock.
And he's gotten a lot of them on this big breaking curveball right here. Doesn't throw a slider. Good fastball change and that big breaking curveball. Throw back to some of the old-time pitchers.
1 man out in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Bob Dombrowski, the 3rd baseman, looking for his first hit of the series. Dombrowski had an outstanding regional. Trailing 1-0. Sends up the right fielder Jason Bridges. Had a base hit. Back in the 2nd inning. Reached on an error in the 4th. Slow curveball by Pollock. And we talked about Schwabe. Had an outstanding game. And Chris Pollock has been tough in the clutch. Arizona State has stranded 7. They've had base runners in every inning except the 6th. Well, they had a base runner in the 6th. That double play, excuse me. Got him out of it. Didn't strand anybody in that inning. 0-2. Just missed outside. Florida State has made 4 errors, but they've also come up with 3 double plays. They made the big pitches and the big plays when they had to. Just got a piece of the fastball. Left-hander Chris Pollock, his 2nd year at Florida State. Slow curveball stays outside.
Now you're going to begin to see a little more animation from all these players the last couple innings. You saw Pollock right there. He He really wanted that pitch. We're getting down to these last 2 1/3. One of these teams is going home after this game.
Right. 2-2. Curveball got him. 6 strikeouts for the left-hander Chris Pollock.
And he's gotten a lot of them on this big breaking curveball right here. He doesn't throw a slider. Good fastball change and that big breaking curveball. Throw back to some of the old-time pitchers.
1 man out in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Bob Dombrowski, the third baseman, looking for his first hit of the series. Dombrowski had an outstanding regional when he hit .375, came into the series hitting .275 for the season. And a fine fielding third baseman for Arizona State. He's a junior from Scottsdale, Arizona. Fastball popped up on the bunt. Fulton's got it. Again, Ed Fulton getting the mask off quickly. Broke to his left, but the bunt popped high. Had enough time to turn around and find it. 2 men out.
One of the things a catcher disciplines himself to do as soon as the ball is hit, Ed Fulton, flip that mask off so you can pick up the ball. Not a difficult play, but of course the key is get that mask off and find the ball.
2 men out here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And here's John Finn, who's 2 for 3 and 4 for 6 in the series. Hit in the air, deep right center field. Sanders going back, still going. That ball is caught by Lewis. What a catch by Ron Lewis, the center fielder. I didn't think he had a chance. I was watching Sanders all the way, and Ron Lewis, an outstanding defensive play.
Kind of makes up for what he did the other night. We'll talk about it when we come back.
Great effort. Not only does he catch it, he almost was hit by his own man. What a play by Ron Lewis to end the 7th inning. Florida State leading 1-0. Now against LSU, Ron Lewis had a bad 10th inning. He misplayed this line drive, and it really cost Florida State. Later on, he had a chance on this ball, but he goes back with some hesitation and misses that fly ball. Now the test of a young player, and Lewis is a freshman, is how does he react to that? And here's what he showed you in this game today. What a play.
No question that this play right here, I mean, you talk about getting the weight off your shoulders. Mike Martin very concerned about how Ron Lewis would react today after having that misfortune the other day. That gives you a little idea of his reaction. Wow, that's a game saver right there so far.
Would have been a triple for the speedy John Finn, and who knows, maybe more if the outfielders had trouble. But here's Ron Lewis. And how many times does it happen? Make a great play, lead off the next half of the inning. Lewis leads it off. Bunts up the first base side. Dyson should be able to handle it, and does, making the tag. One man out here in the top of the 8th inning. Boy, this is Finn. He's looking for 3. He looks back. Oh, man, how did he catch that ball? Frustration. He hit it well. Lewis ran it down. Edwin Alicea takes a fastball from Mike Schwabe. Schwabe's come all the way, allowed 5 hits. A costly error in the top half of the 7th inning on a routine ground ball. Second baseman Tim Esme throwing it a little wide. A hit and run single and a squeeze bunt brought in a run. Inside. Count is 2-1. Top half of the 8th inning. Florida State leading Arizona State 1-0. Well, both coaches felt it would be a low-scoring ball game. They were right. Schwabe's pitched a real fine game. And Pollock has been so tough in the clutch.
Alicea draws a walk with one man out. And now the pressure will be on Schwabe and Spear. Alicea, outstanding speed at first base, has 38 stolen bases. Florida State with a one-run lead. Jose Marzan, who handles the bat very, very well at the plate. Alicea with a good lead. He's going. No, he faked. Good fastball in the inside corner. Took 2 steps and stopped.
I will see Schwabe use what in the big leagues they call the slide step, or here they call it the short step, where instead of taking the leg up with a full motion, he will just abbreviate the stride toward home plate in an effort to give Tim Spear a little better shot at throwing the runner out. Might use it right here.
Doesn't go, the pitch out. Arizona State has pitched out frequently in this game. Not afraid to pitch out because of the good control of Mike Schwabe. Alicea with a good lead. He's not going. Pitch misses outside.
If he doesn't go on this pitch, there's something wrong with the strategy that Mike Martin talked about. It's obvious Alicea can't get a read because, boy, he wants these guys flying.
Hitter's pitch. Runner goes. Pitch is taken high. The throw down not in time. Alicea's got it stolen. His 39th stolen base of the season. And the count now 3-1 on Jose Marzan.
Hey, you see the jump he got. Alicea, boy, just gambled right from the start. Once again, the guys that get the brunt of the criticism for stolen bases are catchers. If you don't have a pitcher can unload the ball quicker, you just have no shot.
Pickoff play. Alicea got him. Benjamin snuck in behind and they picked him off. So Alicea stole one, and then Schwabe and Benjamin take it away.
Boy, you talk about timing. You see him stick his glove out right there. That's the set play. And he got him.
Perfect throw from the pitcher. Marzan walks on the 3-1 pitch. So Schwabe, who had outstanding control, has walked 2 men here in the 8th inning. Maybe a sign that he might be losing the edge a little bit. 3 walks in the game issued by Mike Schwabe. 2 men out, a runner at first. And again, a great base stealing threat. Marzan has 39 stolen bases as well as Alicea. Marzan fakes going. Pitch is hit deep to right field by Ed Fulton, way back there. And gone, a home run. Ed Fulton getting the bat going. The 3rd home run of this 1987 NCAA College World Series. Ed Fulton hitting it out. And Florida State has a 3-0 lead. His bat was alive in batting practice. Mike Schwabe, who doesn't give up that many home runs, got tagged for that one.
Well, you mentioned Mike Schwabe starting to struggle a little with the back-to-back walks. And here Fulton, what a great swing. Plants that front foot to generate some leverage. Only the 7th home run that Mike Schwabe has given on. And you think this reaction kind of tells the happiness of Florida State. They've had some trouble scoring runs, and Fulton in particular has really struggled at the plate.
2nd team All-America, Ed Fulton, with a team leading 18 home runs. A pitching change will be made by Arizona State. Linty Ingram will come in to replace Mike Schwabe, with Florida State leading 3-0 in the 8th. We'll be right back.
Well, Mike Schwabe pitched a great ball game for Arizona State. couple of base on balls, but late in the game, belt-high fastballs have a tendency to get you in trouble. And Ed Fulton, who had been struggling at the plate, and look at the reaction right here. A little different than the old, hey, shake hands and sit down. It's low five, high five. You name it, and they got it. And there's a little reaction over there in that dugout. Nothing to feel bad about. Your teammates had about 6 chances to get you some runs,
right,
Mike Schwabe, and they didn't do it.
Schwabe, an outstanding effort. Pitches 7 2/3 innings and leaves trailing 3-0, making that one bad pitch. But again, the walking Alicea, a great play picking him off, and then walking Marzan, and Fulton hits the home run. Linty Ingram pitched 7 1/3 innings in Game 1 of the College World Series Friday afternoon. He allowed 12 hits and 8 runs, 5 of them earned. A gritty effort on the part of Ingram. He hung in there pretty tough. And he comes back to try and keep Arizona State in the ball game. Ingram, a record of 10-5 this season. Facing Barry Blackwell. Blackwell got aboard on the error by Esme in the 7th inning that led to the first run of the ball game. Curveball foul.
Interesting, Sam, that Mike Martin in some of our pre-tournament press conferences said, hey, I used to believe in just the 3-run homer and let's play ball, play hard ball, but I've changed my thinking. I believe in the stolen base running game. There have been 3 home runs in the College World Series. You know who's got 2 of them? Florida State.
Just missed. Mike Schwabe went 7 2/3, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 6 hits. He walked 3, 2 in the 8th inning, and he struck out 2. Aside from those 3 walks, probably a typical Schwabe performance. The check swing tap to Ingram, throws him out, and the side's retired. But a 2-run homer by Ed Fulton, a big shot in this game. Go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Florida State leads it 3-0. ESPN's live presentation of the 1987 NCAA College World Series is being brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Mercury, makers of the all-new Mercury Tracer. Mercury, the shape you want to be in. And by Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it.
But Sam, they say if you're overused as a pitcher, the first thing it'll tell is it hurts your breaking ball. Watch this curve from Linty Ingram. Not too much wrong with that breaking ball right there.
Fooled Barry Blackwell. Hey, they're having a good time. Nice afternoon at the ballpark. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Tim Esme, number 2 in the order, leads it off. Chris Pollock has gone all the way. Has allowed 6 hits. There have been some defensive lapses, but some defensive gems as well.
Exactly.
On the ground, Bornegal. Long throw is in time. Rafael Bornegal from the Dominican Republic. One man out here in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
Well, you like to have an infielder charge the ball. Bornegal, it looked for a minute, almost overcharged that. Boy, he caught it full speed.
Fastball on the hands to Mike Benjamin, popped to short right field. Back goes Edwin Alicea to make the catch. 2 men down, and now Pollock starting to get into a good rhythm.
That's great communication right there. You see Alicea turning around and looking at Deion Sanders, because what an infielder fears going back full speed like that is, boy, if the outfielder doesn't know I've got it. Of course, the case years ago, Leon Wagner and Larry Brown with Cleveland, where Larry Brown was injured very seriously colliding with Wagner. So an infielder always has that fear, and those guys communicated extremely well in that play.
Tony Mattia, big left-handed power hitter, who was the designated hitter in Game 1 of the series, will pinch hit for Martin Peralta. So they'll go lefty-lefty. Peralta, the right-handed DH, did not produce in this ball game. Good fastball from Pollock.
Interesting strategy. Not too many times you see a manager, a coach send up a left-hand hitter to hit for a right-hand hitter. Especially in Peralta's case, he's a power hitter.
Curveball down low. Peralta grounded to second, got on in an error by the shortstop, and hit into a double play and really hadn't produced.
And I don't envy this guy coming off the bench to hit Pollock's curveball in the shadows.
Fastball just got a piece. Look at that big swing.
Yeah, that's the last fastball he'll see right there. He had a good rip at it. You'll see the powerful swing that Matias got. Boy, great swing.
6'1", 230, a senior. Played 3 years at Grand Canyon. Then sat out last year, transferred to Arizona State. 1-2. Hit deep to left field. But Mark Giordano makes the catch. Sides retired. We go to the 9th inning with Florida State holding a 3-0 lead as Chris Pollock has settled down to stop Arizona State. Sam Rosen, Jim Cott, Tim Brando at Rosenblatt Stadium. This is Game 5 of the NCAA College World Series. Florida State leading Arizona State 3-0 as we go to the 9th inning. A scoreless ball game until the 7th. An error opened the way for an unearned run for Florida State in the 7th, scored on a squeeze, and then a 2-run homer by Fulton in the 8th. Florida State has come up with 3 double plays, and Chris Pollock has settled down over the last 3 innings. He's faced the minimum 9 batters. He allowed 1 base runner, wiped it out on the double play.
And he only has 2 complete games on the season. Next inning, we're going to see Byerly warm up, and don't be surprised if you see Richie Lewis trot down there just in case.
In case they need an out. Here's Mark Giordano. Got a big base hit in the 7th inning when Blackwell got aboard on the error. They had Blackwell running, and he bounced the single into right field to put runners at 1st and 3rd. Don Erickson followed with a safety squeeze bunt, a well-placed bunt that scored Blackwell for the 1st run of the game. This is the man from Longview, Texas, Linty Ingram. His 1st year at Florida State, having transferred from McLennan Junior College. Missed with a fastball.
It'd be great if he was on the same team with Kobe Curlin and Rusty Crockett.
They let Linty get out of Texas. Breaking ball in the dirt. He's 2-2 on Mark Giordano.
And Sam, I may have made a little crusade here in our first few games of the criticism of overusing college pitchers, but let's not lose sight of the fact that this is to them the same thing the World Series is to the pros. They're going all out to win these games.
That's right. I think the criticism tends to happen in those conference games where you'll see someone start on a Friday night and maybe relieve on a Sunday in the 3rd game of a series. But I agree with you. In the World Series, these kids want to win. At the knees. Strike 3 called on Mark Giordano. A 3-2 fastball. Umpire giving the pitcher the benefit on that one.
Well, I said so far it has been a pitcher's series from an umpiring standpoint. There's an example right there. Borderline strike. Jim Garman gives Ingram the benefit of the call.
Here's Don Erickson. Had a bunt single, a squeeze bunt. He hasn't been hitting much, but he came up with that big bunt. Runners at 1st and 3rd, and 1 man out in the 7th inning. Laid it down toward the 2nd baseman. Pushed it very nicely. Popped up. Short right field. Tim Esme goes out. Turns, has trouble with the wind, but stays with it. Wind started to carry it back. 2 men down in the top half of the 9th inning.
As we said earlier in the ball game, any ball that's hit in the air toward right field, you're going to see the 2nd baseman, right fielder, 1st baseman have a little bit of a battle. He's searching right now to find it and drift with it. This is what the players call a high sky. You look up and it's very difficult having any kind of depth perception as to judging that ball.
Deion Sanders has had a couple of base hits. Sanders got a single to center following that squeeze bunt on which Mark Giordano was thrown out at the plate. 2 for 3 in the ball game for the speedy Deion Sanders. Don't forget, the World Series of Hockey is coming up. at 8 o'clock Eastern Time following this College World Series game. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Philadelphia and Edmonton from the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. Mike Emmerich, Bill Clement, Tom Mees on hand to bring you the championship of the National Hockey League. And then Game 6 of the NCAA College World Series, delayed tape broadcast. Georgia and Arkansas. That's tonight. John Sanders, Joe Morgan, and Tim Brando will bring it to you. Hit in the air to center field. John Finn goes back. He's there to make the catch. Last chance for the Arizona State Sun Devils. They are down by 3. It's either rally or go home for the Sun Devils. We go to the bottom of the 9th. We go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. And what may be the season-ending ball game for the Arizona State Sun Devils. It's been an outstanding year for them. And they are on the brink of elimination from the 1987 NCAA College World Series. Arizona State 40-26 this season. Champions of the West 2 regionals after tying for second place in the Pac-10 Conference with UCLA behind Stanford. Arizona State went on to win the West 2 regional. But right now, they need 3 to tie. Ted Dyson, the first baseman, will lead it off against Chris Pollock. Slow curveball, just missed. Pollock has allowed 6 hits. He's walked only 1 and struck out 6. He's hit 1 batter. What an effort it's been for Chris Pollock. Good fastball.
Now, once he gets by Dyson, now Arizona State has all right-hand hitters. Mike Martin, of course, his ace out of the bullpen. Rod Byerly is also a left-hander. He said he would not use Richie Lewis unless it were absolutely necessary.
He needed maybe 1 out. On the outside corner with a fastball.
I would not be surprised if a man got on here for Arizona State. Richie Lewis has got to be sitting in the dugout saying, hey, come on, let me go down there. I want to loosen up.
Pollock has been in command over the last 3 innings. Hit on the ground is short. Bornegal handles it. Across to Marzan. The high throw. He brings it down. 1 out in the bottom half of the 9th inning. There's Richie Lewis. He knows the camera's on him. All-America right-hander. Pitched a strong ball game in Game 2. Lost it in the 10th inning.
Smiling right now, showing at Florida State, because if they win, he's the chunker Wednesday night. Yeah. Which way to the beach?
No, he says, I can hit it out. He says, I'm a good hitter. Tim Spear, the catcher, 1 for 3 in the ball game. Arizona State has had only 1 hit over the last 3 innings and brought only 10 batters to the plate in the last 3 1/3. A double play wiped out single back in the 6th inning. Pollock has really settled down.
Well, where he pitched his ball game, and he still has a little work to do here, but those early innings where Arizona State kept getting men on and Florida State would make an error just to put him in trouble every inning.
Last complete game shutout was by Arizona State's Doug Henry against Maine back in 1983. There was a shutout pitched last year. Rob Walton and Gordy Dillard of Oklahoma State combined against Indiana State. Fastball in the dirt. Count is 3-1. 1 man out in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Arizona State wasted several good opportunities early in the ball game. They've left 7 men on. But Pollock has made some big pitches. Fastball on the ground, foul outside of third. Tim Spear has had an outstanding season for Arizona State. Fine catcher. Junior from Waco, Texas. Tim Spear. 3-2. Lost him. Just missed inside. Pollock wanted that one. Only the second walk issued by Chris Pollock in the ball game. 1 on and 1 out. The potential tying run now in the on-deck circle.
Well, he's used to pitching from a stretch, as we said, Sam. He's had base runners on in every inning, though the last couple innings have been much easier for him. The double play that Fulton made, and then the outstanding catch by Lewis.
Pitch on the inside corner. Marzan at first base is not holding the runner, Tim Spear. He's playing behind him. See him right in behind, and he'll break back to get into good fielding position. Mike Barola, the left fielder, is in. Missed the high fastball, and the count is 0-2.
People might say, Sam, well, if the first baseman's playing way behind you like that, why don't you take advantage of it? Of course, if there was a base stealer there, as you can just see Marzan in the upper right-hand corner of your picture, if Spear were a base stealer, he might try that, but he does not have good speed.
Curveball, and Barola stays alive.
It'd be a bad gamble, of course, on Arizona State's part, even though it would take them out of the potential double play to get thrown out 3 runs down in the 9th inning.
Pollock won 2 games in the regional, the Atlantic Regional, which Florida State hosted. Pollock ahead on the count. Fastball on the outside corner. 2 men out. 7 strikeouts for Chris Pollock.
Well, from his first at-bat, we've talked about Mike Barola having difficulty. You see how far away from the plate he is, and Pollock has consistently kept that ball on the outside edge, and right there's another example.
He struck out 7. 4 of them have been called third strikes. This could be the last out of the season for Arizona State. Jason Bridges steps in, takes a curveball on the outside corner. The warm-up action is stopped in the Florida State bullpen. They're ready to charge out and celebrate. Trying to stay alive in the NCAA College World Series. Fastball foul back. What a pitching performance by Chris Pollock.
Nobody saw it.
Yeah, he showed his mental toughness in those first 5 innings.
Tim Brock is upset with something here.
A little psychological ploy right here.
I think he may be saying that Pollock didn't stop at the belt in the stretch position. I'm not sure, but I think that's what he might have been questioning, that Pollock just didn't stop. Slow curve on the ground is short. Bornegal to Alisea. The ball game is over. A complete game shutout by Chris Pollock, a 6-hitter, as he keeps Florida State in the World Series, and the Seminoles eliminate Arizona State. What an effort by the left-hander Chris Pollock, in trouble in each of the first 5 innings. He settled down and was absolutely masterful over the last 4. The first complete game shutout in the NCAA College World Series since 1983. And Chris Pollock, with the help of a 2-run homer by his battery mate Ed Fulton, has shut down Arizona State. And it's the end of an outstanding season for the Sun Devils. A surprise team, Mike Barton and Jim Brock saying so long to each other, and a big victory. And look at that. Pitcher and coach embrace a fine effort by Chris Pollock.
Well, as we mentioned, Sam, Chris Pollock did the job early in the ball game. That was the big difference. Nobody could have pitched any better than Mike Schwabe did through the first 6 innings. In fact, he got the first hitter out in every inning he pitched. Pollock in constant trouble, but he made those big pitches and got key double plays. And boy, what a gutty effort by that left-hander right now. Now they're looking forward to sending Richie Lewis to the hill on Wednesday.
That's right. Florida State right back in the thick of things as they defeat Arizona State 3-0. We'll be right back.
It was a scoreless game till the 7th. Florida State broke the game open with a 2-run homer in the 8th by Ed Fulton. A sad ending for Jim Brock at Arizona State. A happy finish to this ball game for Florida State. Tim Brando is standing by outside the Florida State dugout. Let's go to Tim.
You say it so many times, Sam Rosen, but in the game of baseball, what goes around comes around, and we've got living proof of that standing next to me now. Ronald Lewis, let's begin with you, Ronald. I know you had to really feel badly about the way the game ended against LSU the other night.
Yes, sir. I felt pretty bad. I felt like I had let the team down, and I needed to come back and get the confidence back in myself.
All right, now it happened in the 7th, and you really took it away from Arizona State. Explain what you were thinking as you made this catch.
Well, I saw the ball hit, and I figured if I got a good jump, I have a chance at it, and luckily I did.
Well, did you communicate at all with Dion there?
Well, I felt Dion coming, but I really didn't see him, and neither one of us said anything. I just dove after the ball. I was, like Coach said, go through the wall to get it. So that was when I was going through the wall to get it.
All right, thank you. Congratulations. Best of luck the rest of the way. Mike Martin, I know you were concerned today when we had our little get-together about Ronald and his confidence coming into this game, and ironically, here it is happening for him.
Tim, I'm in the game because I love kids, and there's no way we were going to put that guy on the bench today. He's played great center field for us all season long, and well, we knew if he could just get out there and make a play, he'd get the confidence back, but gosh, I never figured he'd make one that spectacular.
Well, you've got another hero, and we have to talk about him, Chris Pollock. He pitched through a lot of jams, 4 errors behind him. He didn't really get the kind of defense behind him he's used to. In fact, every infielder made an E on the Chesterfield scoreboard at left center today, but he fought his way through it early on.
We like to pass everything around, Tim, and we certainly did. I tell you, it's amazing that Chris shut him out. When you give a ball club 31 outs like we did, Pollock dominated. I mean, from the first pitch of the ball game, the young man dominated. I've seen him do it 2 other times this year, and I mentioned to you guys in the pregame today that the young man has that ability. Today, he went out and did it again.
I recall asking you along about the 6th inning, were you satisfied with the number of pitches? Because he had thrown a number. He was 2-2, 3-2 on a lot of different batters, but you said, yeah, I'm no problem.
He had the good fastball. Normally his fastball is a little bit what we call average. Today he had an above average fastball, and I was talking to Jim Cott before the ball game. Told him if he gets that number 1 going, then his number 2 is unhittable, and he proved it today.
Well, you have to feel confident right now because you've got Richie Lewis, who pitched so well for you, even in a loss. Now you've gotten the complete game performance from your lefty. So you must be feeling pretty good now, though you know you're going to have to play at least 1 extra game if you're going to get to the finals of this thing.
Well, we know getting to the finals is a long way to go, and the old cliche, you take them one at a time, and certainly that's where we are now. Richie Lewis will get the ball Wednesday. Richie Lewis is chomping at the bit to pitch again. He's the type of young man that loves when the pressure's on. He loves to have a lot of folks in the stands. He's that type of individual. I just look for him to have a good outing.
You manufactured the 1 run today to get the 1-0 lead, much in Mike Martin fashion. But, you know, even in the LSU game and again today, your runners have been held pretty much in check. You had 1 pick today.
Jets normally don't get tired when they take off, and we let them go again today. I think we had 3 or 4 stolen bases. We had 1 base-running blunder when Edwin got picked off second. But I really believe that that's the only way we're going to win this thing is put pressure on people. LSU took that away from us and beat us. If we can get people on base, we can make some things happen. A great bunt by Donnie Erickson for the first run.
You got the big blow from Fulton today, but your bats still aren't quite there yet, and you do have your share of good batsmen, but they haven't really produced as yet.
It's amazing how that 1 error cost them the so-called ball game. It was a routine ground ball. We end up getting a run out of that. Donnie Erickson did a great job. He took a look at where the infield was playing, and we work on that all the time. If the guy's back, we know if we bunt it to the second baseman, we got a run. One of the best feelings in the world is when you bunt one down there and you see nobody covering. You know you got an RBI and a base hit.
All right, congratulations, Mike. The rest of the way, Florida State, the Seminoles are here for it.
You doggone right. We're going to stick around as long as we can.
All right, Mike. Sam Rosen and Jim Cott will be along to wrap the College World Series Game 5 up in just a moment.
Along with Bill Clement, I'm Mike Emmerich. What's going to happen tonight in the National Hockey League has only happened 9 times in the 61 years the NHL has been presenting the Stanley Cup, a 7th game final.
Mike, we are a couple of lucky guys. We thought we had seen it all. We saw the Islanders come back from a 3-1 deficit. Detroit did it. Now we're going to see something tonight that hasn't happened since 1971. That's a 7-game series in the National Hockey League. It's going to be great.
The 7th game is the fantasy of every young hockey player. Tonight, they get to make that fantasy into reality. Now back to the College World Series and Sam Rosen.
Florida State, on the pitching of Chris Pollock, defeats Arizona State 3-0 to stay alive in the College World Series. Coming up in just a few minutes, it'll be Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll send you back to the Northlands Coliseum. Mike Emmerich and Bill Clement standing by to bring you the championship of the National Hockey League, Philadelphia and Edmonton. Game 6 of the NCAA College World Series on delayed tape broadcast, 11:30 Eastern Time, Georgia against Arkansas. Joe Morgan will join John Sanders and Tim Brando for that one. It was a great effort for Florida State. Good defensive plays, some big plays. Ron Lewis with a diving grab in center field. A fine catch. The big home run in the 8th inning by Ed Fulton gave Chris Pollock some breathing room. And for Jim Brock, the end of an outstanding season as Arizona State heads home. Florida State stays alive. So long, everyone.